Hey everyone, welcome to our first introductory session for Logic Pro X. These sessions are designed for Key Stage 3 students and also teachers who will be using Logic Pro X to potentially do some of their sessions in the future. In this session, what we're going to be covering is just setting up Logic, so initially setting it up, and a small introduction to loops as well. So I hope you enjoy. Welcome to Logic Pro X or Logic Pro 10. This is the latest version of Logic Pro, and it will work. These tutorials will work for earlier versions as well, but I'd say if you've got anything earlier than Logic 8, I would consider getting the updated version as soon as possible. So first of all is when you go onto Logic, you'll be greeted by the project chooser. Just go ahead and click on empty project, and then you'll be asked to choose a track type. Don't worry about that too much. Just go ahead and click on create here. Brilliant, and we've opened up into the digital audio workstation, or the DAW. Currently at the moment, for me, Logic is in its simplest default setting. So what we want to do is we want to get to our advanced setting. Now, if you're already on your advanced setting, fantastic. You can kind of skip ahead on this part. If you aren't, you can usually tell by these two kind of wooden panels coming down the side. And here is you'll have symbols instead of letters. So what we want to do is we want to head up to Logic Pro X, Preferences, General, go to Advanced, and then Show Advanced Tools, and then click on all the additional options and click Enable All, and then just want to go off there. And now we're ready to go on. Before we do anything though, what we want to do is we want to save our project. Okay, so just head up to File, click on Save or Save As. I'm just going to put this in my documents. I'm going to call this Newave 1, 2, 3, 4. Fantastic. Okay. So what we want to do is we're just going to go over some of the different things now before we carry on. So up here, where my mouse is going from right to left, we have our control bar. Now our control bar contains buttons that we can toggle to different areas, and our transport controls as well, so things like stop, play, record, loop, fast forward, rewind. We've got our metronome, our count-ins as well. On the left here, we've got our inspector, and our inspector shows different parameters of the track or region or area of key focus that we've selected. So it's showing us the parameters at the moment for audio 1 here. The next one here is our tracks area. And this is where we will be building our songs and where we will be moving our tracks and regions on our DAW. Okay, so let's go through some of the buttons up in the control bar, because we will be using those quite a bit. So up here at the moment, what we've got highlighted is the inspector. And if we click that off, the inspector disappears. If we click that on, the inspector appears. And the key command for that is I on your keyboard. So if I go ahead and press I, it's off, and then it's on again. Next to this is probably one of the best tools, especially when you've started using Logic, to use. It is our help button. So if we click on that, as you can see, it will highlight. So if we were to go over here, it will show us a yellow highlight underneath, and it will tell us what that button is, an explanation for it, and a key command for it as well. So these are the editors button, access editors, audio track, etc. And then the command for that is command and then /. This is probably the best tool, especially for when you've just started off, just kind of getting your head around some of the terminology, what some of the different parameters do, what it toggles to as well. Just super helpful at the start. Next to that, we have our toolbar button, and this gives us a little drop down menu of some of the most commonly used features in Logic, and it's just a way of getting easy access to them. Things like being able to chop up your different tracks and adding colour to your tracks as well, which can be really helpful in identifying different instruments. Now, we're not going to worry about smart controls just yet. We're going to head over to this one here, which is our mixer. And the mixer will show us all the parameters for all the tracks that we are using in our session. So at the moment we've only got one, but when you've got loads and loads of audio and you want to get to things quickly and you want to see the different levels of multiple tracks and regions and controls, the mixer is probably going to be the best thing to use. And I'll explain more in later videos about the different buttons on our mixer and what these different parameters do. The key command for the mixer is X, so I'm just going to head and click X and then it's off. So what we're going to do is we're going to head over. I don't feel like I need to explain. Stop, play, record. If you hit record, you'll start recording. If you hit stop, you'll stop recording. If you hit play, you'll play, rewind, etc. Next to that, we've also got a couple of other features. So this will show us where our playhead is on our tracks area. So if we put it over here, we're now on bar 5, beat 1. Here, bar 6, beat 1. 6 beat 3. It will show us our tempo as well, our BPM, and then time signature and what key we're working in. Here we've got some of our metronome options, and I'll explain a bit more about these here and what these do later on. We're going to head over here now to our loops section, our loop browser. Now our loops are basically noises and sounds that have been pre-recorded into Logic, and they're really useful when we want to kind of build up a track very quickly. And what we can do is, if I show you now, so at the moment we're on all genres, so what you can do is you can kind of pick the genre of music you'd like to work in. Let's just go with disco funk. Brilliant. Here we've got instruments, so you can actually pick the kind of instruments you want to work with as well. At the moment I've only got a few downloaded, but you can go back into Logic and you can download all of these. I'm just going to click on piano for now, and when you click on a loop down here, you'll hear it play. Click on it again and it stops. So I like crosstown disco piano. I want to add it to my composition. So what you want to do is you want to click it and hold it down, and then you're going to drag that loop into the tracks area and it will appear. And let's play it. There you go. So that is one way you can kind of start to get some audio clips in and some things on your loop. Now, as you can see here, we've got the name of the loop. We've got how many beats are in that loop, so how long the loop is going to be. So this one is 8 beats long. We've got the tempo, and we've also got the key, and the key is really important because when we are building up these different loops, we want everything to be in the same key. So let's add something else in. I am going to add in Delta Disco Guitar. Let's add in that. There you go. Brilliant. Fantastic. So we've got two instruments in there. Now, if we want to start to build up more, and we want to keep continually listening to these different instruments we've already got, there is a way we can do that, and we can use our control here on our track to do that. So if you can see this here, this is our cycle range. So this will allow us to cycle through the different tracks that we've got down and get them on a loop. So if we click that now, you'll see that we've engaged our cycle and it turns yellow. So that means if I press play now, so it's played the audio, and when it comes to the very end, it will loop our audio back around. Now we can change the range by going to the furthest end here where the locator is and then bringing it back. Fantastic. And what I'm pressing there is I'm just pressing the space bar to stop and start. So we've started to add in a couple of audio tracks. We've started to get used to using loops as well. Have a go now at kind of adding in some more loops, some more audio in our loop section over here. Try adding in some of the different instruments as well. And on the next video, what we're going to do is we're going to start to look a bit more at the other parameters that can affect the sound and audio as well.